Naruto Top Fire Release Techniques Ranking. Various ninjutsu appear in the Naruto series. Each technique has an attribute, with some exceptions, such as fire release, water release, lightning release, earth release, and wind release. Among them, the fire release techniques frequently used by the Uchiha clan, who are at the center of the story, have many appearance scenes. Uchiha Sasuke, who could be called another protagonist, and Uchiha Madara, the root cause of everything and the final boss. Both excel in and often use fire release techniques. Moreover, fire release techniques are cool, aren't they? I'm sure I wasn't the only one who used to imitate the fire release. Great fireball technique when I was a kid. With so many cool fire release techniques in the story, have you ever wondered which technique is the strongest? So, today, I would like to discuss the top 7 strongest fire release techniques. Now, in summarizing the strongest fire release techniques this time, I have defined techniques with greater attack power and attack range as stronger techniques. I have not taken into account the difficulty of the technique or the amount of chakra consumed. I have simply chosen the super strong techniques when activated. Please note that I have excluded anime original techniques this time. So, let's get started right away. The 7th place goes to the hiding in ash and dust technique. This technique converts chakra needed within the body into high-temperature flames, instantly burning everything nearby and raising the ashes and dust to hide the user's form. It's like an upgraded version of the ash pile burning technique used by Sarutobi Asuma. While the main purpose of this technique is to hide, the attack power itself is decent, and it has an attack range that can cover the entire area with ashes. It seems useful in situations where you're surrounded by many enemies. Asuma's ash pile burning technique involved forming hand seals, exhaling ash, then igniting it with a flint concealed in his back teeth to attack. On the other hand, Madara's hiding in ash and dust technique can be activated without hand seals, and it doesn't require an ignition source to deal damage to the opponent. In this sense, it is considerably more convenient than the ash pile burning technique. Asuma, being the son of the 3rd Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen, and a Jonin, is a highly skilled ninja, but Madara is indeed in a different class. In 6th place is the Fire Dragon Flame Bullet. This technique involves blowing chakra-infused flames, which attack the opponent like a dragon. Furthermore, the flames are controlled with chakra, making it extremely difficult to avoid. During the destruction of the Hidden Leaf Village, the 3rd Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen, used it in his battle against the 1st and 2nd Hokage. This technique, which appeared quite early in the story, is believed to boast an attack power among the highest in the numerous fire release techniques. As a result, you can feel the intensity and ferocity of the battle between the 1st and 2nd Hokage versus the 3rd Hokage. At this time, most fire release techniques, such as the Great Fireball technique and the Phoenix Sage Fire technique, were used by Genin Sasuke. Suddenly, such a high-level technique appeared, and it was hard not to be impressed by the power of the Hokage. The Fire Dragon Flame Bullet is an advanced ninjutsu. However, in the story's depiction, it was overcome by the 2nd Hokage Hiretsu's water formation wall, even without water. Therefore, its attack power is considered somewhat inferior among the top 7 techniques introduced this time. However, the expel flames spread in front and to the left and right of the caster, and they can be controlled with chakra. Thus, it is considered an excellent technique in terms of attack range. Both the 3rd Hokage, who unleashes this technique, and the cunning 2nd Hokage, who overcomes it, truly embody the strength of the Hokage. In 5th place is the Blast Wave Wild Dance. This technique uses Kamui to draw on a whirlwind, then blows out flames to create a vortex of fire for attack. The power and attack range are increased by attaching explosive flames to a strong tornado and releasing it towards the enemy. In the story, there are settings for the compatibility between elements. For fire release, it is strong against wind release, and when the attacker combines fire release and wind release, the flames are amplified. In this technique, the strong wind generated by Kamui can be used to increase the power of the flames. It's very convenient to be able to increase the power of the flames with the wind, even if you can't use wind release. As a result, it has enough power to penetrate Earth, which should not be compatible with fire, and the attack power is outstanding. In addition, the vortex of flames spreads over a wide range, engulfing enemies and providing an excellent attack range. If such a vortex of flames were to approach you, you would be helpless. However, this technique can only be used by those who can use Kamui. The hurdle for using this technique has suddenly increased. In the story, Uchiha Obito used it. He is a true user of Kamui. Perhaps the only ones who can use this technique are Uchiha Obito and Hatake Kakashi, who also possess the Sharingan and can use Kamui. If Obito and Kakashi used Blast Wave Wild Dance together, it would be impossible to avoid. In fourth place is the Dragon Flame Release Song technique. This technique involves attacking the enemy by blowing out flames shaped like a dragon from your mouth. It is believed to be an upgraded version of the Great Dragon Fire technique used by Uchiha Sasuke. In the story, it was used by Uchiha Madara. While the Great Dragon Fire technique involves a single dragon-shaped flame, the Dragon Flame Release Song technique involves multiple flames that also track the enemy. It's a terrifying technique. When Sasuke used the Great Dragon Fire technique, he released it into the sky, creating cumulonimbus clouds and attracting lightning for the Kirin technique. Sasuke didn't actually use the Great Dragon Fire technique as an attack, so the true power of the technique isn't depicted in the story. However, since it's a flame that can change the weather, you can imagine it has considerable power. The Dragon Flame Release Song technique is thought to have equal or even greater power. In addition, as explained earlier, it has a tracking function for the enemy. So even if the enemy flees far away, it can be accurately finished off. If such dragon-shaped flames chased you no matter how far you ran, you might think it's better to be burned because of terror. In third place is the Great Fire Annihilation. We have finally reached the top 3. Great Fire Annihilation is a technique that transforms chakra, refined within the body, into scorching flames and expels them from the mouth. In the story, it is a technique used by Uchiha Madara, and is similar to the more powerful version of the fireball jutsu that Uchiha Sasuke often uses. Its power is tremendous, and even with the water release barrier, which has a good affinity with flames, one person cannot defend against it. It's a powerful technique that requires multiple water release barriers combined to barely defend against it. This technique was used during the Great Ninja War, and since there were multiple water release users on the battlefield, they were able to defend against it somehow. In normal combat, it would be almost impossible to defend against it. It's truly worthy of Madara. In addition to its power, the attack range is also extraordinary. From the depictions in the story, its attack range is vast, boasting the ability to incinerate nearly 20 enemies simultaneously. It is indeed like a cheat technique. Uchiha Madara is truly fearsome. In second place is the Toad Oil Flame Bomb. The Toad Oil Flame Bomb is a powerful technique used by Jiraiya. It is a tag team technique with Jiraiya's summon, Gamabunta, who forcefully sprays oil. Jiraiya then blows flames onto it, igniting the oil, increasing its power and attack range, and attacking the enemy. This technique was used in the battle between Jiraiya and Orochimaru, while Jiraiya sought to bring Tsunade back to the Hidden Leaf Village. Orochimaru aimed to make Tsunade his own in order to heal the arms he lost due to the third Hokage's medical ninjutsu. I remember the excitement when the legendary Sannin trio appeared. In that battle, the Toad Oil Flame Bomb, which was used in cooperation with Gamabunta, had extraordinary attack power. Its power is so great that it can melt the skin of Orochimaru's summon, the giant snake Manda. Although Manda's skin was shed at the time, it's still impressive that it can melt the skin of such a large snake, indicating considerable firepower. Moreover, the range of the flames is also extraordinary. From the depictions in the story, it is enough to engulf 3 to 4 Mandas, and it seems like it could easily burn down an entire village. What's surprising is that when Jiraiya used this technique, he was under the influence of a paralyzing drug created by Tsunade, which prevented him from properly activating his technique. With this power and attack range, even in that condition, it's believed that the Toad Oil Flame Bomb unleashed by Jiraiya in his normal state would have unimaginable power. It seems like it could burn down an entire village. And, in the grand first place is the Great Fire Destruction. It is a technique used by Uchiha Madara and others in the state of being enveloped by Susanoo. It is a technique that transforms the chakra refined within the body into great flames, which are then released in all directions, burning everything to ashes, as the name suggests. Perhaps it is a more advanced version of the Great Fire Annihilation. At that time, Madara was facing all 5 Kages. So he was unleashing one powerful technique after another that were suitable for taking on the Kages. The sense of despair during that time, thinking that they couldn't defeat someone like him, has left a very strong impression. A more advanced version of the already incredibly powerful Great Fire Annihilation is just outrageous. With this technique, its power is of course impressive, but what is truly overwhelming is its attack range. This technique burned the vast range of area so much, as the enormous Susanoo looks small with the great flames. It's a technique with an overwhelming scale. That seems like it could incinerate even if there were about 5 Godzillas. However, the Mizukage Mei, who managed to somehow counter this technique with water release, was truly worthy of being a Kage. Thus, the strongest fire release technique, Great Fire Destruction, which does not lose to its name, was the undisputed number 1. In this video, we introduced the top 7 strongest fire release techniques. Since the Uchiha clan is skilled in fire release, 5 out of the 7 techniques were used by the Uchiha in the story. It's clear that they have a talent for fire attribute techniques. I would be happy to receive comments from the viewers, such as "this technique is definitely the strongest," or "it's strange that this technique is not included." That's it for this video. Thank you for watching.